Shut up, compressor. Hey everyone, I'm Matt with Doogs Models, and this is the Flankoff. Okay, so after a few sessions of fucking around with things like gear bays and engines, it's time to get to the main event. Joining the Fuselages. So up first, we're going to be tackling the Great Wall kit, just to give it a chance to go first for a change, and then we'll be moving on to the Kitty Hawk. So what have we got here? Well, you've seen the upper fuselage, which includes everything from the radome aft. It's got the wings already attached. It's got the boom already attached. Basically, this is most of the complete upper airframe, which is pretty damn nice to have. Lower side is where things get a bit more interesting. So here is the lower fuselage. Now, it's still got the same, nose aft thing going on. It's got a couple little cutouts here to help essentially ensure fit with some of the upper pieces. It's got the wings attached. You do have to drill out the holes for the pylon, so don't forget that. The big noticeable thing here, though, is where the hell is all this shit? Well, that shit is all separate pieces on this kit. There are one-piece intake engine trunks that you put some stuff inside and they just sit down on here. You can see these tabs right here that will help locate all that. And then inside here you can see there are some pretty beefy mounting posts that in every test fit I've done have locked in like crazy. So let's go ahead and close this bastard up. Got the top and bottom half. This is one of those ones that as it starts going together, you start getting some really satisfying snaps. It's kind of like you finally get to pop your knee and it just goes click. See, there we go. There's a good one. Snap, crackle, pop. The Rice Krispies of model building. And these mounts here on the inside are very, very secure. All right, it's looking like a bit of a winner there. The one area that you do need to pay a little bit of attention to is up here at the front. You can see, I'm going to guess these are dielectric panels or something like that, that are going to be painted some different gray than the rest of the airframe. I guess that's maybe why they did it that way, so they didn't have to break that with this panel line. But as you can see, in normal sit, it is a bit slack. But if you just kind of squeeze, everything fits. And it's very, very nice. So I'm not going to start there though, because that's a bit of a heavy lift. So where do we want to begin gluing? How about back here with the tail? That might be fun. Do things a little bit differently. There you go. That was a good bit of capillary action there. Customary squeeze to get that little bead of to me extra thin poking out. And we get to hold this for a second, because holding things is the joy of modeling. Alright, so we've got that part locked in now. Now we're going to move, and I'm going to get these little sections here right inside the wings. And those get a quick little pinch. Same for the areas up here. I'm a bit hesitant to lock the wings down too much because I don't know. You see there's that little step. I don't know how much the yeah, compressor. I don't know how much the leading edge slats need in that area, because if you look here, you can push it pretty far in. So you can save that. That's an easy fix later on. Typically not a big fan of clips, but every now and then they sure as hell have their uses. So we've got the wings, or the tip pylons held in place pretty well. Gonna go ahead and get those ends locked in place. This thing is a big ass aircraft. Alright. Now we're gonna do the nose. And working around this guy in sections, it's always fun. The beauty about the nose is that we can also go from the inside. The beauty of working with solvent cements is they do tend to cure pretty quickly. See, that's a nice join we got going on right there. So we have to pinch here and somehow not get glue onto our fingers. Just want this to do the magical wicking job. I got a tiny little bit of fingerprint over here, but it'll be easy enough to clean that up. Alright. Swing this guy around. Voila. Apart from some little bits of the wings, things are mostly where they need to be. That is one mean looking aircraft. Just look at that. Alright, I'm going to set this guy aside and we're going to play with the Kitty Hawk next. Alright, so now that the Great Wall kit is out of the way, it is time to play with the Kitty Hawk kit. Now this one has a different engineering approach, namely in the fact that the wings are separate pieces, which is frustrating, but you know, I think that we might actually be able to make something of this, so we'll see. On the underside, the aft portion of the intake and engine trunks are molded in place. The intakes go on front. And when you get to join it, you have to base it essentially on the gear base because of the various tabs and whatnot in there. And it has this annoying habit of not wanting to sit. It wants to pop up, so we're gonna have to hold it down and glue it in place. Ensure everything is nice and happy. Okay, so a few things that we need to pay attention to when getting this thing together. First of all, the wing roots. So essentially the way the wings work is you've got a top and a bottom part. Shut up, compressor. And everybody knows how wings go together, right? I hope so. Typical Kitty Hawk with their super shallow mounting pins and whatnot. This goes together and slots in here. Now the challenge with this is that it's very hard to gauge the depth of everything when the fuselage wants to bounce around so much. But I am thinking I might be able to glue the wings to the upper fuselage first, and then just clamp everything down. So that is the first thing to watch out for. The second thing that we get to watch out for is back here in the rear end. This little lip here for the boom, I had planned to essentially use the plastic, as I figured the resin boom that comes with this kit would probably just require cutting this off and having some annoying butt join thing. But that's not the case. Look at that. Whoever did the resin knows what they're doing based on the engines and the boom so far. And this thing slots on here like this. But if you notice, it either sits right up top or down below. So what I'm thinking about doing here, because this is a little bit too small, is literally shoving a piece of styrene right in there just to spread it just a tiny little bit. And then we can go ahead and have the proper spacing. If you look right here, that is where one of the sprue gates goes, right on that lip of the flap trailing edge, or of the trailing edge before the flap, where it's just a pain in the ass to get out and deal with. I mean, annoying kitty hawk bullshit. So where'd my sprue cutters go? So my preferred way to go about this is to come in here first and at least cut it that way. Then it's a matter of doing a bit of scraping. So I think I'm leaning towards gluing the wings on first. They slot in pretty well, and this way we can work the joint from the inside, and it looks like the upper ones here have a pretty, once you deal with all the, looks like they have a pretty decent dihedral. About what they should be, I suppose. I am probably going to regret this. It's looking decent. So now what we're going to do is clap this guy on. All right, now we're going to get, son of a bitch. This is a lot more tedious than the Great Wall kit, that's for sure. So while this is happening, something else to note is the awesome way that Kitty Hawk has designed the lower wings to cut across the aileron right here, just for no reason whatsoever, and get in a whole bunch of rivets way. Why? This is tedious in the extreme. We're going to lock that little part down while we can. Isn't this exciting watching all this unfold? I know, right? Slowly getting there, ever so slowly. Okay, so while we let the leading edges of the wings up here set a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the back. Essentially this part where the exhaust ring comes together around the side here. I think I might leave this part here a bit loose until I start putting on the fins. We'll see. I thought that looks pretty nice. Okay, so this wing, I think we've got a pretty decent hold going here. Let's see about this. Hey, look at that. May not be pretty, but it sure as shit could be uglier. Alright. We're going to glue that bastard down, get in here between the clip. Deep sigh of relief there. Whew. The one problem here is that we've got this area that needs a bit more hold and no way to get a good clamp in there to hold it because it's all round and it'll just slip right off. It's ugly, but it's coming together. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the CA out so we can attach this ass piece. Big fan of this Loctite gel. It's got a bit more control than your average CA has. In theory it does. All right, I'm gonna hit the accelerator on this guy. If I can find it. All right. We have the boom installed. It's something. And my allergies just kicked in all of a sudden. All right, I think we can take these off now. Okay, so this has been a hell of an ordeal, but we have the fuselage for the Kitty Hawk Su-35 closed, and the wings attached, and the boom attached. This has not been without its without its fights. Getting the wings on was fun. These little shoulder areas in here were fun. The boom was fun. I mean, it goes together, but it is not without a fight, that is for sure. As you can see, there's still going to be filling that has to happen there along the wing roots, and back here where the boom doesn't quite sit perfectly. It actually is raised a little bit, not as bad as it would have been without that little assist from the styrene shim that we put in there. So overall, we have us an aircraft coming together. Now, after this has, you know, overnight the setup, I'll come back and hit those leading edge areas and things like that just to do the final business. But it's going. Definitely not as friendly as the Great Wall kit, but it is, I will admit, a better build so far than the Su-17 was. So let's keep going.